York. Ebro in the morning on Hot 97.
Do you maintain that nobody cares what's happening with Trump right now unless he's going to jail or losing money in the long run? Or is impeachment still enough for people to care? They just want him get out of here.
Yeah, I think most people, actually, I think you care about jail or money. I think the average person who listens to our show cares about him not being president.
Just get out of the way. Get out of here.
Please don't be president anymore. Yes.
I would say this. I like the impeachment thing. Obviously, I want him out of the way. It's just a terrible situation. I just firmly believe that the shenanigans taking place has brought that office to such lows. Such disgrace has been brought to what we believe a president should be. And I know privately all presidents every president has these type of shenanigans.
What type?
You know, things abroad that we don't agree with, bombings. I mean, Obama had tons of things that we didn't love. The drone strikes, the deportation numbers. What else there was a few things in there. And I remember even at Tom Rosenberg where you had come into work several times like, yo, I'm really disliking Obama. I was
really disappointed.
Because you had higher expectations.
Yeah, I never disliked him because he was always Barack, but I was disappointed politically at times, yes, because he wasn't the rebel we thought he was. We all thought he was going to be the black president, and
Who's we all? Because there's definitely black folks who was like, guys, remember, he's president. Because I remember in the Al Sharpton and some other people, they had problems with Barack going in too. I mean, ultimately at the end, everybody's like, look, you did a great job as a president, but yeah, you were a president that happened to be black.
Right,
you weren't like even Trump supporters now, he didn't do anything for black people. What president, unless you're a Trump lover or presidents of the past, goes in and only does something for a specific ethnic group?
No, you can't do that.
You're not supposed to. It happens.
Well,
and has
right
happened.
Because
Trump's happening right now.
Because Trump's definitely a white president. Trump's way more of a white president than Barack was a black president.
Facts.
That's for sure.
It's not supposed to be that.
No.
You're supposed to try to bring everyone
But, I mean, the
to a
fact is-
common accord so we can move forward as a...
The fact is, because I think Barack was such a he's such a smart, thoughtful person that we thought that would lead to incredibly progressive policy. You know, really taking a stand on certain issues like Israel. He was going to be really, really fair and Palestinian sympathetic. He was okay. And
Israel didn't like him.
Israel didn't like him.
Pro-Israel people did not like Barack.
But that standard was still, he wasn't revolutionary on it either.
No.
He kept everything in place.
He was moderate on everything.
He's moderate on everything. He's just a moderate guy. And guess what? That was safe and comforting. And ultimately, while it doesn't, to me, make him necessarily one of the best presidents ever, it makes him a good president and someone we could all look up to and admire, and we would all cry if we met the guy, right?
Definitely the best black president ever.
Oh, no. Number one.
Number one.
And for those of you that don't understand why black people love Barack so much, it's the idea, the image, the fact that we saw a black family successful at the highest office in a land where we were once slaves.
Right.
So when you fix your lips to go, he didn't do anything for black people. He did a lot for black people.
100%.
He changed. Oh, sorry, Shawnee. He changed everything. For black little boys and girls,
Right.
anyone born during his presidency, they thought of the president as black. They didn't even know there was a world where the president wasn't black,
Or that wasn't a thing, or couldn't be a thing.
And by the way, and I keep maintaining this, same thing happened to white kids born at that time. Little white boys and girls grew up being like, yeah, the president's black.
And I'm gonna tell you something else Barack did.
It's cool.
For
That's
black
amazing.
folks.
It's dope.
Barack, his presence made you racist jump out of your skin. And so we got to see who is who and what's what. So he helped black people a lot.
Right.
He helped black people a lot.
Showed us
Because now we be like, oh, I knew something with you, fam.
Now they out here.
Now,
Heavy.
I maintain that because Trump is so terrible as a human being, you might like where the market's at, you might like your bank account. But if that's all that a president needs to do for you, and you think that's all a president's job is, you didn't get the memo. The president of the United States also has to represent who we want to be as a country. If you believe in that,
where we're going.
Where we're going,
Right.
who we want to be, how we want to be represented to the world. If Trump does not go to jail or lose a lot of money, that office will never have respect again. Something has to happen to him other than losing the job.
Because to
The
you,
world and everyone else will be like, well, he became president. He made a bunch of money. Okay, he got fired. Oh, well.
but if he was successfully removed from office, that's rarefied air. That doesn't happen.
And what, though? He's still rich, though. He's still...
But that, to me, the standard is, like, for example, Clinton was impeached but not convicted, right? It was a joke. Andrew Johnson was impeached and not convicted too, right? No one's been successfully convicted. Right. They almost got him. No one. It's never happened, Ebro. So should they impeach and convict him, and he's officially removed from office in disgrace, the first time it's ever happened
It has
in the
to happen
history of our
now.
nation?
It has to happen now. It has to.
It can't just be him losing the election.
No.
They have to remove him from office. I don't know if he'll end up going to jail, but I think if he ends up being like, you're forced out of office, that's
Well, see,
pretty
now
good.
New York State is going and going to bring a lawsuit, or allegedly thinking of it, a lawsuit against the Trump organization for their activity prior to him being in office. So people are going to go at him on the state level, right? Which is going to, I'm told, disable his ability to give pardons to other people because of his activity before he was president with regard to his organization. So
So in order to maintain the integrity of the White House in that
you
position,
have to, bro.
he has to go down in flames.
You got to go down. This got to be burnt down.
Well,
Because otherwise, what's stopping someone else? What a lesson has to be learned here.
now, Ebro, did
I
you?
don't see it happen.
Listen, I don't think you're wrong, Shawnee, that it probably a 70-year-old rich white man goes to jail after becoming president.
Right.
I don't see that as the end of this movie.
They're going to let him fade out.
But I'm telling y'all, if it's not the end of the movie, the world won't respect that office.
So you're saying impeached and convicted is not enough?
No.
I disagree. It's the first time ever in history it happens. First time ever in history? That's not enough of a lesson of like the United States, yeah, he got there and he tricked the system, but he was removed in disgrace. I'm setting the standard there. If he ends up going to jail, phenomenal. But if we get to see, imagine the
I mean,
paper.
I'll be happy if he gets impeached and convicted.
I
I'll
just
be
think
like,
it drives
yeah,
the
okay,
message
cool.
home. I think it drives the message home. If he gets forcibly removed from office,
There will be some
Fam, I'm
integrity.
telling you, we live in a world where it's all about the money, bro. And unless people really start losing money and losing stuff, they're not gonna stop. It's not gonna stop.
now, did you see? We didn't talk about this on the air. I don't think his tweet about South Africa.
Yeah, I haven't brought it to the air yet, where he talked about the South African farmers. In South Africa right now, post-apartheid, if you're paying attention, 70+% of the usable farmland is still controlled by the white minority. And there's a process in place where they're going to start bringing that land and giving it back to the government and putting it in control of South African people. There's a right-wing, like, white supremacist blog called, let me look it up. I'll look it up. Here it is. They're called AfriForum, a lobbying group based in South Africa that advocates for the rights and interests of the country's white minority. They've stirred up white supremacists around the world. So things are getting heated in South Africa because they're trying to say that white farmers are being murdered. South Africans, white, also are saying that's not the truth. That's fake. That's not what's happening. Farmers of both black and white have been killed because of where they live way out in the sticks. But things are heating up in South Africa. And then you have factions, obviously, inside South Africa who are more extreme and pro-black nationalists who are like, yo, Trump, you're a racist, and bring it. South Africans are ready for whatever you want. We ain't got the biggest guns, but we're ready to die because this is ours.
So it's a bizarre and interesting circumstance where the white minority, because the racism in the U.S. is different. White is still the majority. There, it's the white minority holding on to this farmland that they shouldn't have, but they have had forever.
Well, not forever.
Not forever. For a very
Because
long
apartheid didn't start there until in the 40s.
For their forever. So they've grown up having all this stuff. And now people are rightfully being like, this isn't fair. It's got to come out of your hands. So they're like, what? I'm losing. So the idea that Trump.
Well, they're like, my parents fought for this. We fought and won. South Africans are like, no. That's not what happened. You
wasn't
came
a
in,
fair fight.
stole, and murdered.
Right. And the black South Africans, like, we deserve to have this. You do not.
Right.
The fact that Trump is weighing in on this is such an obvious nod to white supremacy. Like, why would you weigh in on this? It has nothing to do with us. Nothing. Except for that he sides with the white people who are losing their land.
Well, but that's the global white supremacy that I've talked about on this program many times.
Y'all think Ebro sounds like a crazy conspiracy theorist when he says this? This is really what's going on. It's the front page of the New York Times. Trump tweet echoes agenda of supremacy, a racist narrative for South African farms. And it goes through to explain how the Trump tweet is him really just supporting white supremacy in South Africa.
What's the actual tweet again?
He
What
says
did he
basically he's looking into it.
He
We're
said-
looking into what's going on over there.
I'm going to do what?
Well,
Make sure the
just
white
so
people
y'all
keep
know-
their land?
Here it is. I have
so you-
asked, sorry, Ebro, I have asked Secretary of State Pompeo to closely study the South Africa land and farm seizures and expropriations and the large-scale killing of farmers. Quote, South African government is now seizing land from white farmers. At Tucker Carlson at Fox News.
Yeah.
He's looking into it.
So you know, no land has been seized by the South African government. The country has so far used a system that seeks out willing sellers to redistribute land, and the constitutional amendment has not yet passed that will allow the land to be taken without payment. They are working on something that's like, yo, you can sell it, and if you don't,
You can't
might
get
take
it back.
we're gonna take it.
Well, and understand, we've talked about this on the show. Understandably, even if it's completely wrong for those white people to have the land, it's understandably complicated to just go and take it from the people who have been there.
sure.
I understand why that would be difficult and why it's a better solution to be like, hey, we're going to buy it from you. Well, at a good price. We'll take it right back. Boom, thank
Reasonable
you.
price.
But at a reasonable price. Hold on, we're not going to give you all the money, but we don't want to just completely have you have nothing.
That is a diplomatic way to go about it.
Exactly. This is short, but they're claiming that they're just walking up to people and being like, get off your land.
No, they're claiming that farmers are being murdered.
That's how they're taking the land. And that you're saying that's not
No,
happening
that's
at all.
not even how they're taking the land. They're just saying farmers are being murdered because of the race issues in South Africa. There is an amendment that the government is working on that is basically like, yo, we've given you chance to sell the land. If at a certain point in time you don't sell the land, we're going to come and remove people from the
But they
land.
haven't done
that hasn't happened. Also, South Africa says, we totally reject this narrow perception, which only seeks to divide our nation and remind us of our colonial past. That's from the South Africa's foreign ministry. But listen, the poverty that is seen in Africa goes way, way, way back to how the land is controlled by non-African people. And many of those nations have just got independence in the last 60 to 70 years. They're still trying to figure themselves out. Shout to Ghana, shout to Nigeria, South Africa, Ethiopia and Eritrea coming back together. They're working on fixing their problems of the past. Just like many other black nations around the globe. Haiti, Brazil.
But you can't bring up us fixing the problems of our past.
We haven't even.
We try to go back to the past. They're trying to go back to the past. Make America great
Why
again.
are you weighing in on them trying to fix their issues of the past and confronting them, which will be complicated and uncomfortable?
Unless you're an out-and-out white supremacist. The Washington Post says it's not the first time that a Fox News segment has gotten the president tweeting, because he tweeted about this while watching them talking about it. That's what's so dangerous about the Fox News relationship. This guy literally gets his information from there. So this myth, according to the Washington Post, was fueled by white supremacists for years before it surfaced in this presidential tweet. More than 2 decades after the end of apartheid, South African farmland owners remain a predominantly white group. Fringe groups in South Africa and the United States say these white farmers are targeted and killed at disproportionately high rates. There's no evidence for this claim, experts say, but it feeds the white supremacist agenda by stoking racial resentment and division. It's a conspiracy, dude. just to
Let me
stir
ask
up
you
the
a
white
question.
people.
Let me ask you a question. If you knew that your family came to own something within, because we're talking about one generation, maybe two in South Africa.
Right.
If you knew that ownership of whatever you have that's providing for your family was had in a way that embarrasses you, gotten in a way that embarrasses you, and you were being offered like, hey, let's make this right. Let's sell this. Let's make this, figure out a way to work this out. Would you be unwilling to do that if you knew that the history of how you got what you got was done in a foul way?
Well, you would think, I mean, hearing you say it, I think I would say I'd be so mortified that I would just say, take it, please. I don't want to be associated with this. But I wasn't
These are
born,
people's livelihoods.
I wasn't born into that. They were born into it. They're not going to think the way I am, the grandchild of Holocaust survivors. They're so different. I don't know.
Well, I wasn't asking you specifically.
No, I know,
was
but
just-
all of us think what we would do.
Yeah.
All of us think we would do that, but Shawnee, even you, if it would turned out your ancestors in Trinidad, they left you some house, and then if you found out, oh no, actually this was owned by other people and your family actually took
You
it.
stole it.
That's hard.
Yeah, it is hard. It is hard. But I mean, if nobody knows, sometimes you could try to sweep it under the rug. But I think the attention that this is getting, even if it's morally hard for you because you feel like we belong here, at some point you have to have a compass that says, you know what, let's get out of here.
I'm on the wrong side of this, so I want to get on the right side. Because if you go the right way, sold the land, support the right cause, put yourself in a great situation, be a part of the future. You all of a sudden look like a good guy.
Yeah, because you can't feel comfortable there after a while.
But they have pressure
Can't
from
really
other
feel-
ones. The other one's like, we're not going to let them take our land. I mean, I don't know if they have that accent in South Africa, but you get the idea. I assume they still sound like American
They're
rednecks.
gonna take our land.
No, it's different.
We're out here in
It's
South
different-
Africa.
It's different white people. It's different white
That's a
people.
fun-
Let's go down to
A
Johannesburg.
universal farmer twang.